Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi allazina istafa khususan ala afzalihim wa khatamin nabiyyin Muhammadin al-amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Dear brothers and sisters and sons and daughters in Islam, those who are attending regularly, they already know, but those of the brothers and sisters who have come for the first time should please note that we are studying a small collection of ahadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, compiled by Imam Nawawi, who is a scholar of the 7th century of the Hijri calendar. And he has compiled this small collection. And the beauty is that the most fundamental ahadith regarding the various aspects of Islam, that is, one aspect is Iman. What is the basic ideology of Islam? The fundamental ideology. The other one is the structure of Islamic society and Islamic state. Who is entitled to be a full citizen in the Islamic state? Who is to be taken as a member of Muslim society? Another aspect is the Islamic law. What are the sources? What are the fundamental principles? The fourth aspect is the subject which we usually denote by the word tasawwuf. That is really the esoteric teaching of Islam. What should be your feelings within yourself? The purification of the self. How to come nearer and nearer and nearer to Allah. Then the fifth aspect is basic morality. What are the fundamentals of basic morality? And so on. So, the most fundamental ahadith regarding all these aspects of Islamic teaching and Quranic teaching, he has compiled. Now today we are going to study the fourth hadith. We were studying the second, but today I am taking a new hadith because many of the brothers are attending for the first time. So the discussion as it was continuing previously, they don't know it. So that I will take later on. Today I am taking the fourth hadith of this collection. An Abi Abdul Rahman Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu قال حدثنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو الصادق المصدوق إن أحدكم يجمع خلقه في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك ثم يكون مضغة مثل ذلك ثم يرسل إليه الملك فينفخ فيه الروح ويؤمر ب4 كلمات بكتب رزقه وأجله وعمله وشقي أو سعيد فوالله الذي لا إله غيره إن أحدكم ليعمل بعمل أهل الجنة حتى ما يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع فيسبق عليه الكتاب فيعمل بعمل أهل النار فيدخلها وإن أحدكم ليعمل بعمل أهل النار حتى ما يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع فيسبق عليه الكتاب فيعمل بعمل أهل الجنة فيدخلها رواه البخاري ومسلم رحمهما الله. Now this is one of the most fundamental ahadith. It discusses not only a very complicated issue of theology, that is the Jabr Qadr. We read in Hadith Jibreel وَأَن تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدْرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. And I did explain a bit over there, but here this is discussed in detail. This is the most complicated and essentially an incomprehensible issue. That is why the Prophet ﷺ has forbade the Ummah to discuss this issue in detail. We must have some idea, but we should be contented with that much idea and not go into detail. If you go into detail, you will be confused. I will narrate the hadith also regarding this forbidding of the Prophet ﷺ. But for me and for this age of ours, this era of human history, for that the more important aspect is the reality of human being, who he is. This is the most fundamental issue. Whether he is an animal only, a slightly more evolved animal than the apes, the gorillas, the chimpanzees, and that the difference between human beings and gorilla, the chimpanzees, is not more than the difference between a donkey and a horse. A donkey, an ass, is a coarse animal. Horse is a refined animal. That's all. What's the basic difference between the two? They can crossbreed even. So, the same is the difference between these apes and chimpanzees and so on and human beings. This is the basic thought which has permeated the subconscious mind of every human being today. Apparently, howsoever practicing Muslim he might be. Apparently, I am saying. But because this is the philosophy of today, the domination of Darwinism. In the field of biology, it is threatened, challenged. It's not acceptable. Some people do accept, but mostly it is rejected. But in the realm of philosophy, sociology, this is the accepted truth. And this is one of the fundamental ingredients of the present civilization. What is a human being, an animal? Now this hadith tells us he is something else also. He is an animal, no doubt. Admi zada turfa majunast, as farishta sarishta was heva. This is the couplet from Sheikh Sadi. This human being is a very curious type of mixture. Majun, murakkab. It has a composite or a complex existence. In him, there is an animal, full animal. All the animal instincts are there. The urge to preserve the self, preservation of the self, preservation of the species, the herd instinct, the urge to dominate. All these are animal urges. And they are there fully in human beings also. But there is something else also, another aspect of his existence. As farishta sarishta was hewan. There is a hewan, an animal in it, and a malak and a farishta. That is also there in it. So because these two, I must say, very difficult issues are dealt with in this hadith, that is why this hadith starts in a very peculiar way, very extraordinary, very unusual way. The Rawi is, first of all, let me tell you that it is one of the most authentic ahadith of the Prophet, muttafaqun alayh. The hadith of the Prophet, on the authenticity of which both Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim agree. This is the highest level of the authenticity of any hadith. It is very close regarding authenticity. It is very close to Quran. And now the Rawi, the full name, An Abi Abdul Rahman Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu an. The real name is Abdullah, son of Mas'ud. He is one of the major Sahaba, Kibar-e Sahaba as we call. There are three generations of Sahaba: Kibar-e Sahaba, Shabab-e Sahaba, and Sigar-e Sahaba. Some of the children who were just born, they were 5 years old or 6 years old or 8 years old, they are also included in Sahaba. But Sigar-e Sahaba, Hazrat Hassan, Hazrat Hussain, Abdullah ibn Zubair, they are from Sigar-e Sahaba. Then in between you have a middle generation, Shabab, 30s, in 30s and 40s. And then you have the Kibar-e Sahaba, who accepted Islam as early as just Abu Bakr, Umar, Hamza, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. They are the senior Kibar-e Sahaba. So we must identify these three lines of Sahaba. We use the word, in one sense, Sahaba is Sahabi. But there is a difference. Gar hifz-e maratib na kuni zindiqi. Regarding the age. Second differentiation I told you already, who have been attending these lectures previously, that the Sahaba are divided into two categories. Fuqaha Sahaba, Fuqara Sahaba. There were certain Sahaba who were endowed with more intellectual capacity, more power of understanding, more logically oriented minds. They are called Fuqaha Sahaba. The knowledgeable people who had the real understanding, who could understand the basic principles of Islam. Among them, as I told you already, Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu, Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu, al-Mu'mineen Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anha. These are the examples. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and Mu'adh ibn Jabal from among the Ansar of Medina. They are Fuqaha Sahaba. Then there are Fuqara Sahaba. People who were more inclined towards piety, worshipping more, abstaining totally from the pleasures of this life and comforts of this world. You may say, the Sufiya among the Sahaba. To make you understand. Although I don't like the word tasawwuf or Sufiya, because it's a foreign word which has somehow creeped into the Muslim world. It is neither in Quran nor in Hadith. But anyhow, I must use the term which is understood by people. So the Sufiya-minded people among the Sahaba, Abu Darda, Abu Zar, most of the Ashab Suffa. Hazrat Ali is unique. He was from Fuqaha Sahaba as well as Fuqara Sahaba. Both these qualities were joined in him. Radiyallahu ta'ala. Anyhow, this hadith is from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, one of the major Sahaba, the elder Sahaba, the Kibar-e Sahaba, and one of the Fuqaha Sahaba. And one thing more, let me mention, the fiqh of Imam Abu Hanifa is really the fiqh of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, with two links in between. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud settled in Kufa, so his knowledge of Quran and Hadith and fiqh and his ijtihadat, they were there in Kufa, spreading in Kufa. At that time we didn't have these communications, the TVs or the telephones or the radio or the papers or journals, nothing of the sort. One Sahaba is in this, one Sahabi, companion of the Prophet, is here, and people are learning from him. So most of his opinions, they spread over there. Another Sahabi is in Basra, another one is in Damascus. So he is teaching there. So his personal opinions also, they are spreading over there. So that is one of the reasons of differences. Because, the facilities to compare their notes, so to say, were not available. So actually the knowledge and wisdom of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud spread in Kufa, and through his two disciples it reached Imam Abu Hanifa al-Kufi. He was from Kufa. So that is why, fiqh Hanafi, the Hanafi school of fiqh actually is the fiqh of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Now he says, Haddasana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Messenger of Allah narrated to us, explained to us, stated to us, وَهُوَ الصَّادِقُ الْمَصْدُوقُ. As far as I know, this is the only hadith in which the narrator is using these words, that I am telling you what the Prophet said. And mind you, he is the one who is truthful. He cannot tell a lie. Beware, lest you should have any doubts. Because what he is telling you is somehow beyond your conception or perception. So maybe you tend to disbelieve me, or maybe that shaitan urges you to disbelieve Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So mind you, Haddasana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa huwa as-sadiqul masduq. He is the true one, and his truthfulness is accepted by all, including Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the biggest witness of the truthfulness of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it is he who told us this thing, which I am going to tell you now. It is as if I am, explaining what he said. Don't think I am saying it. Inna ahadakum yujma'u khalqahu fi batni ummihi. Verily, every one of you. The literal translation would be one of you, but what it means here is every one of you, every human being for that matter. His creation is gathered and formed in the womb of his mother. Inna ahadakum yujma'u khalquhu fi batni ummihi. Arbaeen-e yawman nutfatan. For 40 days it is in the form of nutfa. Now this word nutfa is used for the spermatic fluid. Min nutfatin is atumna. So this is the spermatic fluid, and in that now we know there are the sperms, spermatozoa. And they go and they get embedded in the womb of the mother, wall of the womb, uterus of the mother, just like a seed. It enters it, just as the seed, it enters the clay and then it sprouts. So in the same way, this is the stage of nutfa. That is why the translators of this, into English, they are Dr. Izzuddin Ibrahim and Dennis Johnson Davies, M.A. Cantab. They have used the word seed, and I agree with them, in the form of a seed, because we know it from embryology. I told you yesterday. Embryology was one of my favorite subjects. Embryology and psychology. So embryology, we know it today, that for some time this spermatozoon enters, spermatozoon, not only spermatozoon, when it becomes zygote, fertilized. The ovum is there and spermatozoon goes there, they unite, and then they get embedded like a seed in the earth. The Prophet said this phenomenon takes 40 days. Summa yakunu alaqatan misla dhalik. Then this embryo remains as an alaqa, Misla dhalik for the same period, another 40 days. Now this alaqa, this word could not be understood by the former translators of Quran because they didn't have the microscope. They never had dissected the human body. They never knew what happens inside the womb of the mother. Because if there is miscarriage, some clots of blood, they are passed. So they thought that this alaqa means a clot of blood. This is wrong. We don't blame them. They belong to an age where the human knowledge was still in primordial stage. We can't blame them. The strange thing is that the Arabic language is peculiar, that the root of any word, it has always a connection with all the derivatives from that root. Just like as a tree, even the leaf of the tree is connected to the root. In the same way, from a root, ilm and lam mim, you can frame 1,000 words. But the connection with ilm will remain over there. Alaq. We have words which we use in Urdu, ta'alluq, mu'allaq. What do you mean by that? Mu'allaq, something which is hanging. Alaqa. Ain, lam, qaf. Alaq. So actually, this is the second stage of embryonic development. When this zygote had multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, then it comes out. It appears on the surface of the inner surface of the uterus, of the womb, wall of the womb of the mother, and then hangs like, it is a hanging thing, just like a leech which sticks to your body, your skin, and sucks blood. So this is the second stage, alaqa. Now these two gentlemen also, because I think they don't have any background of science, that is why they have also translated this as a clot of blood, the same as our former mutarjimeen and mufassirin, they have always alaqa. But if you question what is the literary and literal connection between alaq and blood, or clot of blood, dam, but it is not so, no connection whatsoever. Alaqa. Now we know it today. But don't have any disrespect for them because they can't be blamed. This I'll be explaining in detail this evening, inshallah, in my lecture. What is tadabbur? And what are the conditions for tadabbur in Quran? You must have a full comprehension of the dimensions of human knowledge of your age. It is like a ball. You can put the knowledge of Quran into the ball, but if the ball is small, you can put only a little. If the ball is large, you can have more. If you have a bigger utensil, you can have more. And this ball of your understanding is made of the physical sciences, intellectual sciences. Then now into this you pour the wisdom of Quran. If your ball is the same as was 10 centuries ago, you will not be able to understand the Quran of today. You might be wondering, Quran of today. The text of the Quran is the same as it was 1400 years ago. But as I told you in another of my lecture, in every era of human history, Quran rises as a new sun on the horizon, intellectual horizon of that era. It's a new Quran now. Qur'ane ke mandaram. Qur'ane ke razi darad. There was a Quran which Imam Razi understood. The same Quran as understood by Zamakhshari. The same Quran as understood by Ibn Kathir. The same Quran as understood by the author of any other tafsir. Ruhul Mani, Allama Alusi. Now, as human knowledge is progressing and spreading in both the directions, spreading, deepening, or going to heights. As Iqbal says, उरूज आदम खाकी से अंजुम सहने में जाते हैं, उरूज आदम खाकी से अंजुम सह में जाते हैं कि ये टूटा हुआ तारा महे कामिल न बन जाए. Man has already trampled moon under his feet. Where he will go and where he is going to stop, we don't know. So as this knowledge is expanding and its level is increasing, you can dig out more from Quran. And then that Quran will be the Quran of this age. So here we don't blame and we shouldn't be disrespectful to the former Mufassirin or Mutarjimeen if they have translated it as a clot of blood. No. The second stage is a hanging thing, something hanging and clinging to the wall of the uterus of the mother, like a leech. Summa yakunu muzghatam misla zalik. And then for the same period, for 40 days as nutfa, 40 days as alaqa, and again 40 days as a muzgha. Muzgha they have translated as a morsel of flesh. Now it becomes, just like flesh. These are 120 days in all. And then something strange happens. Summa yursalu ilayhil malaku. Then the angel is sent to that embryo. فَيَنْفُخُ فِيهِ الرُّوحِ. And then he blows into it the spirit. Now most of the former Mufassirin and ulama and exegetes, including these two, have translated it. Then blow into him, into the embryo, the life, breath of life. Absolutely wrong. Now we know, even this spermatozoon was not dead. It was very active, actively moving, living thing. The ovum coming from the mother, that was also not dead. A living cell. The zygote is not dead. It is multiplying. One cell giving birth to millions of cells. But this is not dead, living. Life is already there. So this is something else. This is the spirit, not life. The differentiation and distinction between these two is the fundamental issue of the wisdom of Quran, which must be understood today. As I told you before, man has a composite existence. He is a full animal, and on that side he is the highest evolved animal. But he is an animal, no doubt. All the instincts are there. And if about this aspect of human existence somebody accepts Darwin's theory or some other theory, well, it will be questioned or assessed on the academic basis. But even if somebody accepts it, it's nothing wrong. It's not against Iman. But if one thinks that this is the only existence of man, then it is the biggest blunder. The real man is something else. The real man who was the vicegerent of Allah, before whom all the angels were ordered to prostrate. all the angels, including Jibreel. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. 3 words. Al-Malaika, Lamul Hasr. All the angels prostrated. Again, mind you, kulluhum, all of them. Again, mind you, ajma'un. This man is something else. This is not that Homo sapiens. This is not the animal aspect of man. The spirits of all human beings were created much before the creation of this universe. Mind you my words, much before the creations of the universe. Because the science today has reached only up to the Big Bang. There was a big explosion, and out of that explosion, particles which were extremely hot, trillions and trillions degrees Fahrenheit temperature, extremely small particles came into existence. Then they joined together to make fireballs, so to say. Science has reached up till this stage only. Prior to this, what was happening, they don't know, we can't know through science. The first kun was not this Big Bang. The first kun that came out, as I told you, kharaja min il, the prophetic words. When I say something, something comes out of me. It was in my mind. Then I say it out. So the kun is the kalam of Allah, is the attribute of Allah. That kun took the shape of light, nur. And this light, it didn't have any heat. Cool light. From this light, the angels were created, and all the spirits of all the human beings which had to come in the world were created. There are hadiths to the effect that the angels were created out of light. It is not mentioned in Quran how they were created and what was the matter of the creation. Human beings created out of clay. Jinns created out of fire. Clearly mentioned in Quran. But about angels, Quran is silent. But As-Sadiq al-Masduq, he has told us. And that's the hadith is from Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu anha. Inna Allah khalaqa al-malaika min an-nur. Included by Imam Muslim in his Sahih. In the same way, the spirits of all human beings were created. Also from the same substance, nur. But that nur, which didn't have any heat. Then among a part of that nur, another explosion took place. That was the second kun. And from here, our physics starts. Then those fireballs, extremely hot. At this stage, the jinns were created. وَالْجَانَّ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ. Before human beings, we had already created the jinnis. مِنْ نَارِ السُّمُومِ. Fire. And then these fireballs, one of the fireballs, to cut a long story short, it started cooling down. Vapors came out of it, gases. They enveloped it. On the one hand, a clay, the crust of the earth, is coming into existence. On the other side, the vapors which have gone out of this very thing, the gases, hydrogen and oxygen, They are joining together to make water in the atmosphere. And then for thousands and thousands of years, it was raining and raining and raining. And so came into existence the oceans. And now on the coasts of the oceans, where there was continuous interaction of the clay of the earth with the water. Water receding, again coming. It's getting wet, again it's dry. Again water is coming, again receding, and so on. This process, it is here that life started on this planet. Both science and Quran agree. Water is the source of life. Min al-ma'i, khalaqna min al-ma'i kulla shay'in hayy. Everything which has life was created from water. But the second substance is min turab. Inna khalaqnakum min turab. Then somewhere you find teen. Teen is when turab and water mix together. It becomes gara, teen. Then you know there is some sort of fermentation in that teen. And this fermentation gives birth to life. Teenin lazib, hamaim masnoon. And when it dries, it becomes salsalin kal fakhar. Salsalin min hamaim masnoon. 6 modes of expression in Quran to denote the substance of creation. But the life therein came by water. And this was the process, coming one after the other, from the lower forms of life to the higher forms of life. Either they are emerging from the former, or Allah is creating them independently. Either it is evolution or it is mutation, whatever it is by the command of Allah. But then you know, the highest form of animal life on this planet, the Homo sapiens, who stands on top of the evolution tree according to biology, Homo sapiens, he came into existence. And then one of them was chosen. Inna Allah astafa Adama wa Nuhan wa ala Ibrahima wa ala Imran ala al-alamin. Istafa Adama. What does it mean? Istifa means to select and to choose. And you will always have Allah after it. Istafa Adama wa Nuhan wa ala Ibrahima wa ala Imrana ala al-alamin. Ya Maryamu inna Allah astafake ala nisa'il alamin. Allah is the preposition, necessary proposition. So Allah selected him. Selected out of whom? There was a species first. Then a person, an individual was selected. And now the spirit, which was there in Alam-e-Amr, Al-Alam-e-R-A, so to say, cold storage of the spirits of human beings. From that, the soul, the spirit, was blown into that individual Homo sapiens, and he became Adam. And that is why Allah says, at 2 places in Quran, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. The Homo sapiens as such was not the masjud. It's an animal as the other animals, only slightly more evolved. That's all. فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. This is not the breath of life. It was already living, from amoeba to Homo sapiens. These were all living creatures. Even the life in the form of the plant kingdom, everything was living and is living. Even a blade of grass is living. So life is not something special or peculiar for human beings. It was that ruh which Allah says, my ruh. When I blow out of my ruh into him, then prostrate The divine element in man. है ज़ौक़ तजल्ली भी इसी खाक में पिन्हा, गाफिल तो निरा साहिब इदराक नहीं है। नुक्ते नूरी के नामे वो खुदी, ज़ेर खाके मा शरारे जिंदगी। Even the Western philosophers, they have identified there is something in man which doesn't belong to this world. The divine spark. This is how do they express it. The divine spark in man. No animal would be ready to share whatever he has with another animal. A dog will never share. The other dog will have to fight and then take out of his share something. Human being, although he is hungry and he has only one loaf of bread, but maybe if another hungry person approaches him, he gives the half or quarter to him. No animal would do it. What's the source of this? There are people who are animals, not men. They will refuse, go away. For them Quran says, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. But everybody knows there are people in every community, everywhere, every part of the world, every society who would be ready to share the little they have with their fellow human beings. Where from is this act emerging? No animal instinct can explain. There is the divine spark in man. So that ruh was added. About these arwah we have a hadith. Al-arwahu junudun mujannada. You know, there might be trillions and trillions of these arwah which were created at that time, and they were grouped. Junudun mujannada, armies. They were put in the cold storage. And these were these arwah from which Allah took the covenant. Alastu bi rabbikum? Qalu bala. Shahidna. Am I not your Lord? And they said, why not? We testify to it. You are our Lord. That is pre-physical universe. That is why I said the human spirits were created before this universe. And there is no problem for me at least to accept that maybe the first ruh to be created was of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which is called Noor of Muhammad. Because these arwah, they were created out of Noor. Just as the angels were created out of Noor. So my ruh was Noor of Israr. And his ruh was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And this was the most complete. So there's nothing wrong. Because those ahadith are not accepted by muhaddiseen regarding their authenticity of riwayah. But most of the philosophers, exegetes, and especially the mystics and the Sufis, they accept. أَوَّلَ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ نُورِي. The first thing that Allah created was my Noor. What does it mean? My ruh. There's nothing very big. Something was first to be created. Either it could be first Jibreel or first the ruh of Adam. But because this all belongs to the Alam-e-Arwah, it's just possible. There's nothing, no shirk in it. No even doubt of shirk in it. That the first thing that Allah created out of the Noor, out of light, was the Noor of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or the ruh of Muhammad. Now this thing is now being repeated in the womb of every mother. This is the point discussed in this hadith. One thing let me add, as far as I can understand. the whole species of Homo sapiens then perished, except the one who was selected by Allah and in whom Allah blew the spirit of Adam. Rest of the whole species perished, just as dinosaurs perished. How huge animals! They were dominating this universe, this world, this earth. Perished. And now whole humanity is the progeny of Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. But by this process of reproduction, only bodies are created, not ruh. Ruh has already been created. It is lying there dormant, maybe sleeping. In those junud al-mujannada, al-arwahu junud al-mujannada. This process of reproduction, this spermatic fluid and this spermatozoon and this ovum from the mother and this zygote and this multiplication and this nutfa and this alaqa and this, muzgha, nothing to do with ruh. So to say, one can say, the process which took, say, 9 million years in evolution from one cell of amoeba to Homo sapiens. Maybe that time period is 9 million years. This process is repeated in the womb of the mother in 9 months. It's the same replay. Now we can understand this word replay you see on the television. An action replayed slowly. Each and every minute event or component of that action you can then identify. So this 9 million years process, which were taken by the evolution from one cell to Homo sapiens, is repeated in the womb of the mother. One cell. And then it takes 9 months. But for 120 days it is still only the animal. But after 120 days Allah sends the angel. He blows into that embryo not the breath of life. They are mistaken, absolutely mistaken. They are living in some old era of human knowledge. Our self, our aslaf could be excused. But today they cannot be excused. You are living in the 20th century. You must understand the Quran of today. As regards the do's and don'ts of Quran, they are immutable. They can't change. For that we have to go back. Go back to aslaf. Go back not only to Muqallideen but Imam Abu Hanifa himself. Why his students? Why not him? Not only Imam Abu Hanifa, why not to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud? And finally, why not to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Go back and back, back and back, back and back. What he understood from this word, from which a legal thing has been derived. Ayatul Ahkam. Some do's and don'ts. Do this, don't do this. This is halal, this is haram. This is obligatory. This is prohibited. For this you go back. Not only to the ulama of the former generation, not only to the only 1,000 years back generation. Go to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As Iqbal says, Mustafa barasan khish ra ke di hamaust. Agar ba'u na rasidi tamam bulah beast. Deen, the law, that will be taken from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the wisdom, the scientific phenomena discussed in Quran, not discussed, referred. There are only references. Science is not the basic subject of Quran. Quran didn't come in this world to teach us physics or chemistry or some technology. That was not the function or duty of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Otherwise, we could have, we could have a genuine reason of complaint. Why didn't he tell us how to make an atom bomb? No. This is not for which he was sent. He was sent to give you the right path. Do this, don't do this. These are the danger signs, to the left and to the right. Don't approach. Danger. Keep away. Hududullah. Tilka hududullah fala taqrabuha. Tilka hududullah fala ta'taduha. This is hududullah. You take from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as I told you, I am repeating again and again, go back as far as possible. Go right to the feet of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But as for knowledge, wisdom, science, scientific phenomena referred to in Quran, well, you go with the advancement of the human knowledge which is going, and you will find this is the miracle of Quran. And Dr. Boris Bukai was the first person to refer to it, that the miracle of Quran is, there's no word in Quran which has been abrogated, proved to be wrong. Whatever people understood from that, that might have proved to be wrong. Their understanding of that word at that time, 1,000 years back or 500 years back, they understood this word this way. They can be wrong. But no scientific knowledge, no scientific discovery has up till now proved even one word of Quran to be wrong. This is the miracle. Maybe people couldn't understand. Yes, just as I've said. Alaqa, clot of blood. How come? No answer. Except that we don't know anything else. When there is miscarriage, what comes out? What goes into the womb? Nutfa we know. What comes out of it? A clot of blood. So that is the second stage. If it is a late carriage, then it is a piece of flesh. Yes. The organs are not differentiated up till now. But then, in the further development, the organs are differentiated. So they are not to blame, as I told you. But if a person today interprets it, then he is to blame. You are living in that era, brother. Come to this era. Try to read the Quran of this era. And that's the most difficult job, for which I proposed that an institution of Quranic wisdom, I hoped and proposed it should be established in this center. And I still hope so. I'll try my best for that. Now that story of supposedly 9 million years is repeated in 9 months. It's the condensation of the same process. ثم يرسل إليه الملك فينفخ فيه الروح ويؤمر بأربع كلمات. Now this is the second part of this hadith. The first part has told us that one aspect of our existence belongs to this world. It is lower than the lowest. We are lower than the jinns. They were created out of fire. And that is why Iblis said, خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن تِينٍ. I am superior than him. He couldn't see that spirit that was blown into Adam. That was beyond his comprehension. Because he didn't have any element of Alam-e-Amr in him. He belonged totally to Alam-e-Khalq. So he didn't recognize, he couldn't see, he couldn't conceive, he couldn't perceive that divine element in Adam. He was seeing only the animal aspect of Adam. And he was true, 100% correct when he said, this being of Adam has come out of clay. You created me out of fire. I am superior. Ana khairum min. Khalaqtani min narin wa khalaqtahu min teen. You created me out of fire, and him out of mud. How can I bow before him? I am not going to prostrate. Fastakbara. This was the arrogance, haughtiness, the sense of superiority, the superiority complex in him. So, this part of the hadith is basic regarding the reality of man. What is man? Admi zada turfa ma'junast, was farishta, sarishta, was hewan. Now, let me tell one thing more. I don't want to start the second part now because the time is coming to an end. That I'll take tomorrow, inshallah. Second part of this hadith, which is again very important, which deals with the most complicated and most difficult aspect of theology. Whether man is predestined or he has some free will. Most complicated issue of philosophy and theology both, and philosophy also, and psychology as well. So now, the third thing that I would like to tell here today is what is wahi. Wahi is the communication of the ruh of the human being who has been selected to be a prophet of Allah with the angel, and both are from the same origin. Kulad hamjins, bahamjins, parwas. Malaika were created out of light. The ruh of Isa, Musa, Ibrahim, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, alayhi salatu wasalam, these spirits were also created out of light. Now this communication of this ruh, al-ruhul Quds, ruhul Amin, the Holy Spirit, this is the Malak, this is Jibreel, and the ruh of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The interaction, the communication. This communication is not through these ears. Mind you, please. When Quran was brought to Muhammad, he didn't hear these words from these ears. No. It came directly to his heart, to his ruh, because heart is the abode of ruh. This ruh lives in heart. فَإِنَّهُ نَزَّلَهُ عَلَىٰ قَلْبِكَ. He has sent it down on your heart. This human aspect of Muhammad was not involved in the reception of wahi. It was not the animal being of Muhammad who was receiving wahi. It was the spirit of Muhammad in the heart of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam which was receiving wahi. It was extrasensory, not through these ears, not through these eyes. At times, Jibreel came in the form of a human being. Yes, at times he came, just as we have read in Hadith Jibreel. And mostly the Prophet used to recognize him that he is Jibreel actually, but that is not called wahi. This Hadith Jibreel is not included in Quran. The wahi of Quran was the communication of Ruhul Amin with the ruh of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is why ruh is called, wahi is also called in Quran ruh. And these are the only three uses of the word ruh in Quran. For the Malaika, Ruhul Amin, Ruhul Quds, Ar-Ruh. And for the arwah of human beings. Now when there is a communication between them, this is also ruh. وَكَذَلِكَ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا مَا كُنْتَ تَدْرِي مَا الْكِتَابُ وَلَا الْإِيمَانُ وَلَكِنْ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُورًا نَهْدِي بِهِ مَن نَّشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا وَإِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي إِلَىٰ صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. We have sent down to you a ruh from our Amr. That is Quran. You never knew what is Iman and what is the law, what is Sharia, before you received this ruh. وَلَكِنْ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُورًا. We have made this ruh, this Quran, the nur, the light. نَهْدِي بِهِ مَنْ نَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. We guide whomsoever we wish by this nur. نَهْدِي بِهِ مَنْ نَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. And now that you have received this Quran, you have imbibed this Quran, you have absorbed this Quran, and this Quran has permeated through your whole personality. Now you are the guidance. وَإِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي إِلَىٰ صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. This is Quran, written Quran. And Quran in the form of a human being is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kana khuluquhul Quran. Quran has permeated each cell of the body of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that way we can say he was absolute nur, because the demands of id and libido were subdued, made as if non-existent. The darkness in him had ceased to exist. His whole personality was illuminated by the nur of Quran. In that way, if one says he is Nur-e Mujassam, I don't disagree. Okay. No harm. But this Wahi is also Ruh, Malak is also, Farishta is also Ruh, and Ruh-e-Insani is Ruh. And these are the only three usages of this word Ruh in the whole of Quran. And it is, I think, accidental or incidental that Jigar Muradabadi, he could say a very beautiful couplet. नगमा वही है नगमा कि जिसको रूह सुनाए, रूह सुने और रूह सुनाए. This melody of Quran, this divine music of Quran, नगमा वही है नगमा कि जिसको रूह सुने, the ruh of Muhammad was listening, or रूह सुनाए, and Ruhul Amin was conveying it. It's a very beautiful nazm of Jigar. जेहले खिरद ने दिन ये दिखाए, घट गए इंसान बढ़ गए साए. Human knowledge is progressing, but humanity is going down. घट गए इंसान बढ़ गए साए. नगमा वही है नगमा के जिसको रूह सुने और रूह सुनाए. कारे जमाना जितना जितना बनता जाए बिगड़ता जाए. Advancement of science and institutions, but there's decay everywhere. Jahl-e khirad, the ignorance of intellect. Jahl-e khirad, ne din ye dikhaye, ghat gaye insan, बढ़ गए साए. Kare zamana jitna jitna banta jaye, bigadta jaye. The last days of Jigar were very good. He had stopped, he had made tawbah from drinking, and he didn't really become a Sufi, so to say, a Sufi, near the end of his life. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-azim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikril hakim.